The mistake. The cold hum of the Vornax's core reverberated through the halls like a heartbeat in a metal chest. Commander Threx paced in his observation chamber, a coiled bundle of pale exoskeletal muscle and fraying nerves. The stars outside pulsed silently, unaware of the chaos blooming inside the ship. "Explain this again," Threx said, his mandibles clicking with restrained fury. The xenobiologist across from him, Dr. Zillen, flinched. Her bioluminescent antennae dimmed in submission. The collection sweep was automated. We didn't initiate it manually. An old Earth flag profile was still active in the system. Threx narrowed his primary eyes. And the cargo? Human juveniles. 5 of them. A silence stretched. Somewhere, deep in the ship's lower levels, a muffled clunk echoed, something metallic falling over. "Again, they are unharmed?" Threx asked. Zillen hesitated. "Technically, but containment has been compromised." Threx's mandibles clicked sharply. "They escaped. Not entirely. They've been reconfiguring the environment, rewriting the cleaning drone's protocols. One of them taught a repair droid how to play tag. We lost that unit an hour ago." Threx spun toward the holo display. It shimmered to life, showing camera footage from Holding Bay 6. 5 small humans, aged somewhere between 7 and 13 standard Earth years, were moving like a coordinated unit. One, the tall female with long black hair, was sketching floor plans on the wall with what looked like melted insulation plastic. Another, a smaller male, had disassembled the door panel and was fiddling with the ship's internal circuitry using a bit of sharpened alloy. A third, possibly the youngest, sat calmly in front of a Krauthen guard, asking rapid-fire questions while handing over pieces of gum and stickers. The guard looked confused, deeply, existentially. "They're communicating with each other in complex code," Zillen said. "Mixtures of cultural symbols and shared references we don't understand. Mimetic loops. Non-linear logic chains." Threx turned slowly. "Are they planning an escape?" "No," she said flatly. "They're winning." There was a sharp series of clacks from the far wall as Threx's second-in-command, Officer Colvarn, stormed in. His pigment sacks were fluctuating wildly. Panic, disbelief, maybe awe. "They've renamed the containment zone Fort Kick, but, Commander." Threx stared. Colvarn continued. "They've assigned roles. They built a ranking system. And they've hacked into the food dispensers to serve something called Choco Nuggets." Threx breathed out slowly through his spiracles. "So, you're telling me we abducted 5 of Earth's young, and within 1 solar cycle, they've reorganized our ship's AI routines, corrupted our behavioral programming in 3 departments, and weaponized cafeteria supplies." Colvarn made a grim, clicking sound. "They've also modified the gravity field in the corridor outside their holding cell. One of our soldiers is still stuck on the ceiling." Threx sat, or, more accurately, collapsed into his resting pod. "You don't understand," Zillen whispered, her voice thin with horror. "Human juveniles are apex learners. Their neural elasticity is off the scale. They operate on instinct, trial and error, and social manipulation. Their unfiltered chaos and curiosity wrapped in flesh." Threx's voice was dry. "We've fought wars. We've crushed planetary resistance. What makes children more dangerous than their soldiers?" She tapped the screen. "Children aren't limited by precedent. They don't care what's possible. They just try everything." Another screen flicked on. Footage from an hour ago. One child had initiated a standoff with 2 guards using nothing but a coat hanger, a lunch tray, and a fake limp. "He convinced them he was injured," Zillen said. "They tried to assist. He pickpocketed their ID nodes." The door chimed again, this time the AI voice of the ship. "Containment protocol error. Biological waste processing has been rerouted through officer quarters. Apologies for the inconvenience." Threx slammed his claw against the console. "This is not containment. This is a siege." Colvarn leaned in, speaking softly. "Sir, what if we just return them? Quietly. No record, no tribute demands, no report." Threx twitched. "And let Earth know we kidnapped their young? What would they do?" Colvarn paused. "That's the point. We don't know. No one ever has." Zillen added, The Grolax tried something similar 2 cycles ago. They abducted a single human youth. 6 planetary weeks later, the Grolax homeworld suffered a cultural collapse. Their own military now follows something called the doctrine of spite pizza. Spite pizza? They weaponized passive aggression using fast food. It's very human. Silence again. Threx rose slowly, tail twitching. We need to regain control before Earth learns of this. Send in the psychological pacifier drones. Sedation gas. Flood the vents with distraction stimuli. A moment passed. Then a beep. The AI spoke again. Warning, sedative gas vents have been redirected. Crew Lounge 2 is now an unauthorized nap zone. Threx hissed. On the screen, Maya, identified by the AI as Leader Kid Underfigure 01, looked directly at the camera. She smiled, then held up a sign. This is fun. What's next? Threx stared at it. Zillen leaned forward. She's taunting us. No, Threx muttered. She's bored. He turned slowly to the others. Sound the alarm. Red alert. Emergency council meeting. We must act before Earth even knows we touched their young. He pointed at the screen, trembling with dawning fear. Because if this is what their children are capable of... He didn't finish. He didn't have to. Playtime's over. Fort Kick Butt was coming together nicely. Maya surveyed the room with arms crossed, satisfaction gleaming in her eyes. What had once been a sterile alien containment cell now looked like a cross between a junkyard, an elementary school science fair, and a war room designed by over-caffeinated raccoons. The walls were scrawled with symbols, escape routes, and alien schematics, all rendered in repurposed glow paint and what might have been purple pudding. A busted drone served as a projector stand, beaming stolen blueprints onto the far wall. Status report? She called out. Jamal, hunched over a mess of wires and blinking panels, looked up. His hands were stained with coolant and joy. Got the service drone patched into the maintenance subnetwork. It only speaks in binary and sarcasm, but I like it. A high-pitched voice chirped from the half-repaired bot, requesting termination. Or snacks. Give it a juice box, Maya said. Leo, perched silently near the vent, scribbled in a notebook. He hadn't said much in the last hour, but every few minutes he'd murmur things like, Guard 3 has a limp, or the hallway light flickers every 47 seconds. Sophie was the only one lounging. She sat cross-legged near the entrance, braiding her hair with stolen lanyards and talking softly to a small Krauthen guard through the energy bars. I bet you don't even like your job, she cooed. The young alien shifted nervously, his pigment sacs flashing dull blue. It is an honorable duty, but your boss doesn't even know your name, does he? Aye. Sophie smiled sweetly and handed him a picture she'd drawn, of him wearing a crown and riding a hoverbike. You're special, she whispered. The guard stared at it, visibly shaken. Maya raised an eyebrow. You just flipped another one, didn't you? Sophie shrugged. They're not used to compliments. Jamal chuckled. I think she unlocked emotional warfare before I finished unlocking the door. Leo chimed in. Power grids overloaded on Subdeck 3. We can make a blackout if we time it with the corridor sweep. Maya paced, thinking. They'd been here 2 days, if the word captivity even applied anymore. And the longer they stayed, the more control they took. The aliens were big on order, on structure. They didn't understand improvisation, or memes, or glitter bombs. Maya glanced at the scoreboard etched into the wall. Kids, 17. Aliens, too. One of those alien points had been from the cafeteria food. It was deeply unfair to count surprise gray slime as a victory. Okay, she said. New objective. Get access to long-range comms. We sent a message. Not to Earth, but somewhere fun. Jamal looked up. Like who? Maya grinned. Who's most likely to show up for alien tech and chaos? Leo flipped to a page in his notebook labeled Galactic Black Market, with several names underlined in red. Sophie's eyes lit up. Let's throw a party. A few levels up, Commander Threx was experiencing what scholars centuries later would refer to as the beginning of his villain redemption arc. He was sweating. The pacifier drones didn't work? He hissed. Sir, Officer Colvarn said, they repurposed the sedative dispensers into a fog machine. then played something called dubstep until the drones started dancing. Threx's left eye twitched. They're not escaping, Zillan added. They're expanding. Every time we try to isolate them, they convert more of the ship into their domain. It's becoming cultural annexation. Just then, a klaxon blared. Alert! External broadcast initiated from lower decks. Unauthorized transmission in progress. Threx spun to the screen. Who are they contacting? The screen blinked to life. On it, Maya stood with her arms crossed, flanked by the other kids. Behind them was a banner that read, "We have your ship. Also snacks." She spoke clearly. To anyone listening, we're 5 human kids, currently aboard a ship called the Vornax. The aliens here are kinda rude, but the tech's cool. We're opening a trade window for any curious parties. Bring candy, memes, or high explosives. Let's talk. She winked. And no narcs allowed. The screen went dark. 6 hours later, the Vornax was swarming with uninvited guests. The Black Maw Raiders arrived first, thinking it was a trap. They left an hour later after losing 3 ships to what they called a prank involving antimatter glitter mines. A clan of Vernathi tech scavengers docked next, hoping to score parts. They were immediately bribed with chocolate to deliver Maya's list of demands to the Outer Ring markets. By night cycle, Threx's pristine, orderly vessel was now a mix of black market bazaar and human playground. The kids weren't prisoners anymore. They were event organizers. Threx stared out from the upper deck, watching a massive screen loop a human video labeled Epic Vine Compilation, Volume 12. In it, a small dog in a shark costume chased an adult human across a kitchen floor. The aliens around him watched in terrified awe. This, Threx muttered, is psychological warfare. Zillan nodded grimly. They're broadcasting culture faster than we can contain it. Then we end it, Threx snapped. Seal the decks. Activate the neural net dampeners. Prepare the emergency stasis pods. Kolvarn hesitated. But sir, what if it's already too late? Threx turned to the screen just as the footage shifted to a child-built catapult launching a water balloon at a Krauthan patrol drone. Impact registered. System failure. Drone offline. Maya's voice echoed faintly over the comm. Playtime's over, guys. The counterstrike. In the cold marble chambers of the Galactic Peace Council, the silence was so absolute that it made the ticking of Threx's translator module seem deafening. He stood alone at the center of the circular chamber, surrounded by representatives from over 100 species, each seated in their floating delegation pods, each watching him with varying shades of horror, pity, or disbelief. The Trelvan ambassador, a gelatinous cube known for its diplomacy and pessimism, spoke first. Its voice sounded like wet rubber dragged over glass. You abducted human juveniles. Threx stiffened. It was an accident, a system error in our collection protocols. You abducted human children. The voice came again, firmer this time, from the Drexen envoy, whose race had once battled humanity for 5 solar decades. Have you ever encountered a human youth in the wild? Threx tried to remain composed. They were unarmed. The chamber broke into mutters and clicks and laughter. Nervous, dark laughter. The Drexen leaned forward. Let me tell you what happened when my cousin's battle group captured a human adolescent. The child didn't fight us. He befriended us. He told us stories. He taught the ship's AI to make tacos. Within a week, the crew mutinied. They renamed the ship after him. Threx opened his mouth, but no words came. Another delegate spoke, the elderly Chimerian with translucent skin and weary eyes. We've warned you all. Do not meddle with Earth. Their children are engines of entropy. I will fix this, Threx said, his voice a brittle whisper. I will restore order. I have already begun implementing fail-safes. Neural net dampeners. Isolation protocols. We will sedate them and return them. The chamber fell silent again. Then the Trelvan ambassador pulsed dark green. Commander Threx, you no longer control your ship. He didn't believe it until he got back. The Vornax was in chaos. Not war. Not rebellion. Something worse. Culture. In the lower decks, alien smugglers bartered over Earth snacks. A Scar mercenary was trying on a Ninja Turtles hoodie. 2 maintenance bots wore googly eyes. Somewhere in the background, the unmistakable sound of bubble wrap being gleefully popped echoed through the halls. Worse, the ship's AI now greeted everyone in what it described as chill gamer voice. Yo, Commander T. Welcome back to Fort Kickbutt. Vibe check. Threx stormed toward holding base 6. Status on the juveniles, he barked. Cole Varn, who had started wearing a baseball cap that said, I got schooled by a 10-year-old, looked up. They're not in the holding bay, sir. They've annexed engineering. Declared it a kid zone. Zillen appeared beside him, exhausted and wide-eyed. They're rewriting our systems faster than we can lock them down. Jamal, one of the younger ones, just created a firewall protocol out of meme references and sandwich ingredients. Threx blinked. Ow, we don't know. It works. The commander clenched his claws. Activate stasis gas. Flood the zone. Put an end to this. Cole Varn hesitated. We tried. They reversed the polarity. It knocked out the bridge crew instead. As if on cue, the lights dimmed. Then flared neon pink. The ship's speakers began blaring. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Threx screamed into the void. Meanwhile, in engineering, now renamed the base, the kids were running a full operation. Maya stood at a makeshift command console built from stolen panels and snack crates. She monitored the ship's layout while munching on alien candy that tasted like spicy marshmallows. Jamal was busy wiring a hacked drone into the long-range comms array. Leo stood in front of a group of curious alien scavengers, explaining Earth customs like April Fool's Day, double dog dares, and bubblegum economics. Sophie floated by in zero-G, handing out motivational posters she'd drawn with crayons. One read, You matter. Also, humans invented Sharknado. Fear US. Maya tapped the comms panel. Broadcast is ready. Let's give them a show. Jamal hit the switch. Across the quadrant, thousands of ships received the signal. On screen, Maya appeared with the other kids behind her. They stood in front of a banner made of silver tape in defiance. Attention, Galaxy. This is a public service announcement. We are 5 Earth kids aboard the Vornax. We have seized partial control of the ship, the drones, and the snack supply. No one is hurt. Yet. She smiled politely. We didn't ask to be taken. But since we're here, we're making it fun. Behind her, a pirate ship exploded in confetti. A drone danced with glow sticks. Someone screamed, Jenga, in the distance. Maya leaned in. To the Kralthan command. Return us home. With goodie bags. Or we keep broadcasting. Next up, karaoke. She winked. In the Vornax's command deck, Threx watched as half the crew jammed to Bohemian Rhapsody. He turned slowly to Cole Varn. We have to surrender. Cole Varn nodded. It's the logical course of action. Zillen whispered, Commander, they've turned our warship into a summer camp. With Wi-Fi. Threx slumped. I should have stayed in research. Back in engineering, the kids were quiet for a moment. Do you think Earth's coming for us? Leo asked. They're already on the way, Maya said confidently. How do you know? Jamal asked. Maya pointed to the stars. Because Earth has one rule. You mess with our people, we respond. You mess with our kids. She didn't have to finish. Because far beyond the edge of the solar system, a dark, silent shape slipped into hyperspace, its hull etched with 4 simple words. Special Response Division, Earth. Humanity answers. The Vornax floated in uneasy silence. The lights no longer blinked in chaotic disco colors, and the blaring music had finally stopped. Even the snack fuel markets that had sprung up in the cargo bays were quiet. Something had changed. They felt it before they saw it. An instinctive pressure, a low hum in the void of space. A presence vast and deliberate, like the moment before a storm hits. The scavenger fleets peeled off first. Mercenaries vanished. Even the rogue trading vessels that had docked for Earth novelty items like marshmallow goo and whoopee cushions quietly departed. Commander Threx watched it unfold from the main viewport. Out of hyperspace came the ship, a sleek, obsidian monolith, silent as death and unmistakably Terran. It bore no aggressive signatures, no flashing weapons or pulsing shields. It didn't need them. It was shaped like a promise and moved like a threat. Across the galaxy, It was simply known as the ESS Retribution. Aboard the Vornax, an urgent chime rang through every deck. Incoming hail. High priority diplomatic channel. Authority override. Level Omega. No one moved. Except the transmission, Threx rasped. The screen came alive, revealing a woman in a dark uniform, every crease sharp enough to cut glass. Her face was calm, but her eyes were steel. "This is Captain Asha Varma of the Earth Special Response Division," she said. "You have our children." The silence in the command deck was absolute. Threx cleared his throat. "Captain Varma, there's been a misunderstanding." "Correct," Varma interrupted. "The misunderstanding was that you thought abducting human minors wouldn't trigger a Class 1 crisis response." She tapped her console. "This is not a negotiation." Down in engineering, still decorated with glow sticks and motivational posters, the kids watched the transmission too. "Whoa," Jamal breathed. "That's an Earth ship." "Not just Earth," Maya said, grinning. "That's Ma Mode Earth." Sophie whispered. "Do you think they brought cookies?" Leo adjusted his glasses. "They brought orbit-to-surface drop pods that can punch through planetary crust. But probably also cookies." The screen flashed again. "Incoming transmission. ESS Retribution. Secure link. Addressed to Maya Tran." She blinked. "Me?" The others stepped back as the feed resolved into Captain Varma's face. Softer now, but no less intense. "Commander Maya Tran," Varma said. "Nice fort." Maya sat a little straighter. "Thanks. We repurposed alien tech and built a bartering system based on candy." Varma smiled faintly. "Sounds like a solid early-stage government." "You here to take us home?" Maya asked. "Of course," Varma said. "But first we negotiate." Back in the Vornax's command deck, Threx was sweating again. The children are unharmed," he stammered. "In fact, they've taken over significant portions of the vessel and initiated what I believe are trading card tournaments." "We didn't." Varma raised a hand. "This isn't about punishment, Commander. It's about precedent." "Precedent?" Varma nodded. "We've tolerated many things from the galactic community. Political sabotage, corporate espionage, attempts to clone our pop stars." Threx winced. That had not gone well. "But there is one line we do not allow to be crossed," Varma continued. "You do not touch our kids." She tapped her console again. "Our terms are simple. Return the children, immediately, safely, with an official apology. Then you will surrender a list of all those involved. Your ship will be audited for psychological warfare risk. And the names of the guards who confiscated Sophie's art supplies. We know who they are." Threx tried to find words. "This is outrageous. The children have dismantled half our systems. They started a factional revolution. They're human," Varma said. "That's what we do." In the cargo bay, a delegation of Kralthan guards nervously approached the engineering section. They carried boxes of apology gifts, art supplies, blankets, alien plush toys, and one full container of neon-colored slime. Maya met them with her arms crossed. "Apology accepted," she said. "Sort of. We also brought cookies," one guard said, holding out a tin. "Earth cookies?" Maya asked. The guard hesitated. "Replicated using your nutrient profile." Jamal leaned over. "We're not mad, but this is a teachable moment." Sophie held up a drawing. A cartoon Threx with the caption, "Alien Commander learns about consent." Leo handed them a printed brochure labeled, "So you accidentally abducted a human child. A guide to galactic survival." Back on the bridge, Varma turned to her comms officer. "Confirm extraction protocols." "Confirmed," the officer replied. "Drop pods primed. We'll have them back within the hour." Varma looked out at the Vornax. "They did well." "Yes, ma'am." She smiled slightly. "I expected no less." 1 hour later, 5 glowing drop pods landed gently aboard the ESS Retribution, doors opening with smooth precision. Out stepped Maya, Jamal, Leo, and Sophie, each looking a bit taller, a bit wiser, and still slightly sticky from alien snacks. Captain Varma met them personally. "Welcome home," she said. "Did you watch the karaoke stream?" Maya asked. "Every minute." Leo saluted. We recommend containment protocols for future first contact missions involving Earth miners. I'll take that under advisement, Varma said. Sophie handed her a picture. This one of the ESS Retribution flying through space with Big Cool Mom's ship written underneath. Varma accepted it solemnly. As the ship turned toward Earth, Threx watched from the viewport of a much quieter Vornax. Around him, the crew was exhausted, humbled, and, he had to admit, slightly better at dance-offs. Zillan walked up beside him. "What now?" she asked. Threx sighed. "Now, we write a very long report. And the children?" He looked back toward the stars. "They're returning to Earth." Zillan tilted her head. "Do you think they'll ever come back?" Threx shuddered. "Gods, I hope not." Then paused. "But if they do, maybe we'll be ready next time." Kolvarn poked his head into the room. "Sir, the remaining drones have formed a conga line." Threx closed his eyes. "I wasn't ready this time."